Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, okay. I was posting videos I mean, actually a link to the video and trying to get it in all the different classes and places. And I was like, and then I was trying to pull up a blank PDF, and I was really trying to get a blank graph for us today because I just wanted to do some graphing in math lab today. So bear with me just a minute while I try to find a blank graph. Oh, good. Let me see how good it turns out, if it does. Oh, it turns out pretty good. At least I hope so. Never know what it's going to look like on your side, even though it looks good on mine. I've discovered that about Google Hangouts. Now let me screen share. Yay. Oh, somebody joined us. Hang on just a second. I can't tell who it is yet.
It's me. It's
Oh,
Alec.
hey, Alec. Were you sick yesterday?
Yes, I was.
Bummer. Are you feeling better?
Yes, much.
Good, good. Glad to hear that. Well, we had a quiz in class, and I can put yours up front, and you can either choose to do it at your own time, or if you want to take class time to take it, whatever you want to do. Do you have a study hall? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll probably take it during study hall tomorrow.
Okay, what time's your study hall?
It is seventh period? Yes, seventh period.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make sure it's in the test box so you can just pick it up there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I have a class during that time, so or I just let you take it in my room. But a couple things that I was going to go over before I go over slope. It seems I want to make sure, and I'm going to pull up my book over on my other computer, so bear with me once again. I feel like the first three sections of this particular chapter kind of get some random things. They're not really random. I mean, there's purpose in each of them, but definitely have some things kind of maybe it might feel thrown at you a little bit. So I'm going to review those things because I felt like yesterday on the quiz, people were struggling through a little more than I anticipated they might. So
Okay.
I'm just going to take, oops, a few of the things. I'm going to write, oh, that's a big old fat line right there. Okay, I'm going to take this point right here, and I'm going to graph it for you gentlemen this morning. This is this is two different things. This is called an ordered pair for the coordinate plane, X and Y points. The X always comes first and the Y always comes second. They're technically in alphabetical order if you want to think of it that way. This right here is called the origin of the coordinate plane. that middle thing. That point is 0, 0. Okay? So if I go left, I'm going in a negative direction. And if I go down, I'm going in a negative direction. So my x is -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And my -2y is in a negative direction. So I'm going to go down 2. 1, 2. So that point, which you're not allowing me, is right there. So -4, 2 is right there. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about is the quadrants, because on the quiz, it said to describe the location. When it asks you to describe a location, it's asking for the quadrant. And these are the quadrants. So if I ask you to describe the location of the point that I just plotted, what would you tell me?
Quadrant 3.
Yes, absolutely. And did you write it, Evan? Oh, hey, Campbell. And I'm kind of going over some of the quiz yesterday because a few people got a few things mixed up. So I'm covering that. Did you have a specific question about the slope that we went over today?
No, I just came to say hi.
I'm sorry?
I just came to say hi.
Oh, bless you. Well, that's good. I'm glad you came out. I'm glad you came out to join us. Anyway, I'm going over some of those things, and I'm going to go over, I need to switch back. I have to kind of switch back and forth, guys. And I can't really see while you're on there if somebody talks to me in the little chat window. So I'm going to graph another point over here, 3 and -1. So my x goes over 3, 1, 2, 3, and my y goes down 1. So I'm going to plot that point right there. All right, so describe to me, what quadrant is that one in? If I say describe the location, what would you tell me?
Quadrant 4.
Quadrant 4. Good job. So tomorrow, when it asks to plot a point, that's the very first section. And some people got a little confused about X and Y intercepts and plotting points. So I kind of want to go through that a little bit and explain some of the differences there. Okay, so the quiz and the upcoming test, when it talks about plotting points, that's what it's looking for, is there's an ordered pair, and if it asks for you to describe the location, it's looking for a quadrant. Just as a review. Okay, now the next section that we covered was about graphing lines. And so there was a possibility of having a line like this, y equals 4. Okay, y equals 4 says that every x that's on a coordinate plane is a possible solution, but the y coordinate will always be 4. So basically what that tells me then, if every x is a possibility, and if the instructions say graph the line or graph the equation, the instructions could say it either way. It's looking for a line. And a lot of people thought that was just an intercept. But if the instructions say one of these two things, graph the line or graph the equation, it's looking for a solid line. So this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that line would look like this. And it would go infinitely in both directions, emphasizing that every x coordinate is a possible solution for this particular line. Y equals 4. It just means that every y coordinate for this graph is 4. Similarly, x equals -3 indicates that every x coordinate is a -3, but all y coordinates are a possible solution for this line. So it's going to be a vertical line. 1, 2, 3. This tells me that in positive infinity direction and negative infinity direction, that all y's are a possibility, but the x coordinate is always x equals -3. That is very different than an x-intercept and a y-intercept. This part was 3.2, where we had to graph lines and equations. 3.3 covered x and y intercepts, which was very different. So let me erase this and let's get to an x. Let me do one other line while we're talking about lines before I move on to 3.3, just as a review. I'm going to graph the line y equals, or no, I'm not going to, not y equals. Y plus 3x equals 5. So I'm going to do a t-chart because that's all we knew to do in section 3.2. Once again, I'm just going to write that up here because we didn't learn about x and y intercepts till 3.3. So what I would do is I would come up with, I usually do -1, 0, and 1. So if I plug in a -1 right here, and solve for y, I would get y minus 3, because 3 times -1 is a -3 equals 5. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And I'll get y equals 8. So that's 8. And now I'm going to plug in 0. So I've got y plus 0, because 3 times 0 is 0. It's 5. So that really is y equals 5. All right. Now I'm going to plug in 1.
No, you did that.
So y plus 3 equals 5. So now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Y equals 2. So I've got 3 points. negative 1, 8, and I hope my graph goes that far. So I'm going to go over 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't quite go there. It's up here. And then I've got 0, 5. So I'm not moving any on my x-axis, and I'm going up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my last one is over 1 and up 2. So you want to find at least 3 points, and then you draw a line through those 3 points. And hopefully your line looks better than Mrs. Sparks's. She tried. But that is graphing an equation. And on the quiz, there were 2 lines. There was a horizontal, there was a vertical, and there was one where you had to do a T-chart. And so just so that you know, that's what that was. And I hope everybody's ready, for the test. We're going to go over it, a little bit in class tomorrow too, and then X and X and Y intercepts. We're going to find, we're going to find the X and Y intercepts for an equation. 2x minus y equals 12. Okay, in order to find the x-intercept, that's where the equation will intersect the x-axis. We will substitute 0 in for y. So now I have x equals 6. So that is the x-axis. That is the x-intercept. So the coordinate pair for the x-intercept is 6. And what did I plug in for y? I plugged in a 0. This is very different than the vertical line x equals 6. This is the x-intercept for the line 2x minus y equals 12. Very different things. And it seemed like people got these two a little mixed up on the test or on the quiz yesterday. I'm going to go back to my Google Hangout just to see. Oh, thank you for the compliment on my line, Evan. I really appreciate it. You were definitely seen with Jesus's eyes, and I appreciate that. But that, I just want to be very clear on the differences between the X and Y intercepts and a line that is X and Y equals. Okay, I want to make sure, because I know that that seemed to draw a little confusion. Campbell, do you feel clear? Oh, look at Campbell's heart, bless, and Evan's heart. I really appreciate that. That is so cool that it does that in the chat box. I love that. Very cool. Okay, now for the y-intercept on this, I'm going to actually erase. I'm going to write my x equals 6 and then 6, 0 over here, and then erase my equation. Now to find the y-intercept, I will substitute 0 in for x. Okay. Now, I've got a negative y or opposite of y, which I cannot have. So I'm going to divide both sides by a -1 in order to change that. So my y-intercept is -12, and the ordered pair would be 0, -12, because what did I substitute in for x in order to find it? I substituted in 0. So that is the ordered pair. So my intercept, my x and y intercept for these are 6 and -12. Okay? Oh, look at all my hearts. I came back to see my hearts. I love them. I know. I'm going to see if I can do one now. I think I did it right. No, I didn't. When your math teacher, no. What? Oh, I did it. I did do it.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Yay!
Yes.
It's
All right.
ice cream cone.
Yes. Let's see. All right, now I'm going to do some. We're going to now do a couple for the slope, which is what we did today. That was the video for today. Let me erase this. I wish the eraser erased a little quicker. Not gonna lie about that. I wish there was something that just like swiped it clean, like a slate, like you know those things that you play with where you just peel that paper up. You know what I'm talking about? Or is that just an old toy from Mrs. Sparks' childhood? It must be an old toy. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to, y'all help me walk through this. I'm going to take these 2 points. Here's another thing that I do also, just so that you guys know. Most of the time when they give you a problem where they're asking you to identify the slope the slope of the line that passes through 2 given points, most of the time they're going to be written horizontally. And for me, it just works better if I write them vertically. And once again, let's be reminded that the x-intercept is on the left, or the x-coordinate is on the left, and the y is on the right. Also, let's be reminded that the slope of the line is rise over run. And the rise refers to what coordinates?
Y.
Good job. And the run refers to what coordinates?
X.
Good job, guys. Okay. So what I want to do, and you want to make sure that you always use the same set of points first and second. It doesn't matter which ones you pick. It just matters that you stay on the same one and put it first. So for me, I'm going to start with the bottom one and write 8 minus 2, which are my 2 y coordinates. And then I'm going to write 6 minus 4, which are my x coordinates. 8 minus 2 is 6, and 6 minus 4 is 2, which then can be reduced to 3. So my slope equals 3. Now for me, writing them vertically just helps me kind of keep everything in line as opposed to writing them horizontally. That's my own personal trick. It may work better for you horizontally, and it doesn't matter to me. That's just what works, like as opposed to writing them like this. Nice 4. It just seems easier to me to write them vertically like this. It keeps me in line better. But like I say, it's a personal preference, and I just wanted to show you guys. Oh, okay, Campbell, I'll see you. I guess she left already.
Yeah, she's already gone.
Oh, she had to leave. Oh, how do you make the little smiley face things, the worm-looking things? Is that a smiley?
Okay. That's a sunglasses smiley face.
Yes. And Campbell did regular smiley faces. How do you do those?
So what you do is you see, okay, in the chat box, you see that little smiley face?
Yes.
Click him, and then you want to click the liney ones, not the circle and square ones. You want to hit the line ones. And you can pick those, and it transforms from text into
I got you.
like this.
Right. But I can't tell what the second one is. There's something in the middle. What was that?
Oh, if you just you can just click on that. You can just click in the
Yeah, I
on
can't
the thing.
tell what it is though. Is that a dash?
No, you just open it up and click on it.
I did it.
You see, you just gotta click on it. It's a dash though. You can just click on it and it'll pull up.
I know. Oh, and Evan has to go in 3 minutes. I just saw his text to me too. And before he goes, is there something in particular that you wanted to see, Evan? I feel like we covered today's lesson, and then I actually recapped. Okay, I actually recapped 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3 in the first part. So yeah, I just want to make sure. I didn't do any guided practice problems with the video today, did I?
No.
Okay. Have you already watched the video? Evan, have you watched the video?
Yeah.
Okay. And Alec, you have? I didn't get to ask Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how did he or she write the I can't remember because I usually watch the video 2 weeks before I ever assign it. How did he or she do the coordinate pairs when working rise over run? Horizontally or vertically?
Horizontally.
Yeah. Do you have a preference?
No, not really. I just do wherever it fits on the paper.
Oh, okay. Evan, had either of you ever seen them written vertically before solving?
No, I haven't at least.
Okay. All right. Evan said that he thinks he might have once, but it's just my preference because I feel like it's crazy. I don't want to introduce something that could be a confusing thing. Oh, okay. See you, Evan. Bye. Have a great day. I don't want to add, confusion, but to me, because you're dealing with rise over run, and it's the one place that the Y actually takes precedence over the X kind of thing, because X always seems to go first. But in this particular scenario, rise actually is on top with run on the bottom, that for me, it just helps if I write them vertically and then start right and work left. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Do you struggle with slope or you feel pretty good? So far, how have you felt about this chapter?
I felt really good. I got 100 on the whatchamacallit,
Video?
the Ed puzzle.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, good. That's good. Oh, hey, Campbell. Campbell's back. I actually, Evan left the group, but I was asking them, did you get to see the example, the full example before you had to go, of the slope? The one that I worked?
I've got the only thing you had written on it left was the rise over run and y over x.
Okay. Had you ever seen the coordinate pairs written vertically like I did today as opposed to horizontally when solving?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Which way is easier for you? Or does it not matter? Okay. All right. It helps me to keep them straight if I write them vertically. So I was let's see. One other. Oh, I know something else I want to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go back here and I'm going to draw a line. Nice line. Those are what I circled. Those are the X and Y intercepts of this particular line. What is the X intercept on this line?
3.
Good job. So that means the Y is 0. So that's the ordered pair for that. What is the Y intercept? 4. Good job. There's one of those on the quiz. And there'll be one on there should be one on the chapter test too. So the y-intercept was, so what would the x-coordinate for the y-intercept is always 0. So that's the y-intercept. That's how you write an ordered pair for an x and y-intercept. And that's important to know. Because a lot of people were writing, like when I asked for this, oops. Alec, when I asked, like there's a line on there where you have to identify the x-intercept and the y-intercept.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead and accepted it, but I wrote down the correct answer just so people would know, because that's not going to be acceptable on the test. But you see how the x-intercept is 3 and the y-intercept is 4? People were writing it like this. And
okay.
That would not be correct, because that's actually a completely different point. That point right there is actually this point. Hang on. Right there. So that is not the x and y intercept at all. So if you're writing the x-intercept and the y-intercept in an ordered pair, it needs to look like that. And if you're writing it like, you know, x equals 3 or y equals 4, that's fine as long as it's you're identifying that that's the x and y intercept, and that's not a line. That's not the equation of a line, x equals 3 and y equals 4. Two totally different things. And it seems like, people got that mixed up. So I'll probably be going, thank you for coming to Math Lab. I'll probably be going over that again tomorrow in class too, just to make sure that everybody has it. So just so that you know.
Okay.
Do either of you want me to do some more slope problems? Oh, Campbell had to leave us again.
No.
What, are you leaving us? Yes, she did.
She did.
Yeah. Do you want me to do any more slope problems?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty confident with them.
Okay, that's good. I'd love to hear that. I looked up another cool scientist for you.
Yay.
Or I find him cool. Now I'm not going to be able to. It's John, and he's got a weird last name. His name is Polkinghorn. And the reason, no, Polkinghorn. And the reason why I picked him, number one, he looks like a sweet old man. I would love to meet him. He's 87. But he taught at the University of Cambridge, but he's not only he's not just a theologian, but he actually studied in the field of science for, I don't know, 25, 30 years. And what was his field of science? Hold on just a minute. Goodness. Lord help me. He was a theoretical physicist, but he also became an Anglican priest. So he's super fascinating. And I don't know. He just, some of his quotes I really, really like. And he just does an amazing job. I'm going to actually go watch one of his YouTube videos here. Because he's just, I don't know, he's just very, very fascinating. He one of his quotes in an article that I just read by him, wish I could, I won't be able to find it now again. But oh yeah. I really, really liked it a lot. Because it's very, I thought it was really good. Let me see if I can find it. And I might type it because it's one of those things. Oh, here it is. We know that there are other encounters with reality where we get to know, because he's talking about the integration of theology and science. He said where we get to know things in a different way. There, testing has to give way to trusting. If I'm always setting little traps to see if you're my friend, I destroy the possibility of friendship between us. So that's a different way of knowing, which is adapted not to the impersonal world that science describes, but to the personal world of human encounter. Oh. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. Hey, Natty Grace. How are you doing? Good. Do you have a particular question? You just coming to hang out and say hey? Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I went over some of the quiz stuff yesterday, and I also went over slope earlier. So I didn't really know if you needed any help, but typically you don't. Um, but I'm glad you came to say hey. You have a busy day today? Oh, do you? No. Yeah, mine is too. Mine is too. And I have a doctor appointment this afternoon. So just checkup type stuff though. Nothing serious. I don't have an injury like you or anything. I'm doing good, actually. Praise the Lord. So is yours getting better? Betterish, yeah. Hey, it was interesting. Did you say that you had broken that hand before? Or was it wrist or hand? Okay. All right. Um, well, I went to the body exhibit over the weekend, and it was interesting. But your growth plate, that part should be good, should get better and be less likely to injure it as you get older because it'll kind of meld into your other bones. But I did learn at the museum why there's a greater risk, particularly the more severe the fracture, why a lot of times we seem to keep re-injuring the same places in our bodies. That was interesting on how it gets gets put back together. So that I don't know. Have you ever been to the body exhibit? It's very educational. I will say that you have to do a lot of reading, so you have to be prepped for that. But it's like I say, it's a lot of reading. But it was interesting because like they had a skull there that showed where someone had a stroke. Like there was one where there was a mild stroke, and then there was one where somebody had several strokes, and unfortunately there was a smoker there, and they showed what the lung looked like. Oh, it was bad. That was bad. Um, oh yeah, I feel like I remember you telling me that about the growth plate in fifth grade, and it had to do with Ethan. Good old Ethan. And he's limping around now and hoping that it will all be better before Washington. You kiddos and your injuries. Mo has a slight shoulder injury right now. So we're kind of praying about that. Oh, yeah. I hope so too. Get lots of rest, drink lots of fluids. Water, water, water. Okay. Thanks for coming in, checking in and saying, hey, I will see you tomorrow. And good luck getting everything done today. I'll keep you in my prayers.